Hey there, comic book fans. I am back from the comic shop again this week with another big week of 8 comics. One pulled off the shelf, the other 7 were on my pull list. But first, let me show you my top of the printer museum comic that I was looking at this week. I decided to pull out a random issue of Scout. And somehow I got Scout War Shaman, #1. A nice Timothy Truman cover there. I just had this one sitting at the top on the top of my printer all week so I can go up and look at it. Pretty cool. When did this one come out? Late 80s or 90s? 1987. 1987 that one came out. There's a little date on the cover. So Scout War Shaman, good stuff. I always liked that Scout series. Bought it all through the 80s. And then it looks like I accidentally picked up 2 copies of the Comic Shop News. Red Sonja, Black, White, and Red. There we go. Nice cover. Look at that. Huh? The sleepy reader can't even get 1 copy of the Comic Shop News, and I got 2. Sonja fans will be seeing red. I guess it's black, white, and red. And what else we got? Oh, we got lots of stuff to show us in here. Batman, Scooby-Doo mysteries, Nightwing, Superman, Son of Kal-El. I guess a lot of DC stuff at the beginning. Up here's the Image stuff, Geiger, Siphon #1, Captain Harlock. Nice little pop artish Star Trek cover there. Pretty cool. The Blue Flame, Harrow County, that's back. Oh yeah, I always enjoy reading the Comic Shop News. Oh, I also got this. Another copy of Monsters. My friend Daisy, who I did last Friday night show with, along with Paolo and Scott, she asked me to pick up a copy of this for her. So I did. And my comic shop owner was happy to be selling another one too, because I think he accidentally ordered an extra 4. So she'll be getting her copy next time I see her, sometime this summer. I don't know. And then let's see what comics I got. Oh, the first one is one with my name in it. Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, Caligula's Safe, a Bad Idea comic. And this one is a $1 comic that I think is only on sale today for some reason. I don't know what that. I don't know what that gimmick thing was, but I'm the back as the production guy. You can see me in there. But yeah, we'll read that one. See how I really liked Whalesville Rocks and Minerals from last week. 2 good, Matt Kint and Adam Polina, and Matt Kint and Tony Millionaire. 2 different stories together in one book. And it's funny, even though I worked on them, did some production, I didn't actually read them while I was doing it. So when I finally got to read them as the comic book, I really enjoyed them. There's sort of a fairy tale-ish aspect to them, and they're very different than Matt Kint conspiracy stuff. So it was interesting reading something from him that wasn't a conspiracy story, but they were well done. And here's the one I picked up off the shelf, The Good Asian #1. Just for the heck of it, I liked the art. I've been seeing previews of it. I flipped through and thought some of the storytelling was interesting, so I figured I'd give the first issue a shot. I think it takes place in the 30s. It's a noir story in the 30s. From the writer of the acclaimed series Infidel and the acclaimed artist of Outpost Zero. I don't know who either of those are. Those are the special things. What are their names? Picachote? I don't know. P-I-C... Pi Chet Chote. I don't know. I have no idea how to pronounce that. And then Tefengi. Wow, a whole bunch of stuff I don't know how to pronounce. There we go. We'll check that one out. Then we have Birthright 49. Only 1 issue left to go of this. And this is like this whole story has been an interesting epilogue story. Sort of after the big war ended, I think with issue 44 it was. And the last story arc has been dealing with the after effects of this big war, magic war between Earth and this other magic place that I can't remember the name of. But that's interesting. And here's Grendel, the Devil's Odyssey, where he continues to go to strange new worlds on his Starship Enterprise. uh, that's kind of what it's kind of Star Trek. He goes down and checks out these worlds and sees if there's a place for his people on them eventually. Matt Wagner, 6 of 8. Some nice artwork in this one. I'm guessing this world isn't going to be good enough because I see people fighting each other with various things. There's Grendel right there. Where is he? Guess you can hit him in the back of the head with a club and he doesn't care. But I've been enjoying this series. It's good stuff. Then I decided to pick up the second issue of Geiger. The first issue I was just on. So I decided to go with the second issue. I haven't quite. Who's this? Jeff Johnson, Gary Frank, Brad Anderson on colors, Rob Lee on letters, and we'll see how it is. I mean, the artwork's fine. It's just some post-apocalyptic thing so far where this guy can glow. Other than that, I don't even remember what the story. There wasn't much of a story to it, so we'll have to see how that one goes. And along with that comes Silver Coin #2, another one that I put the second issue on my pull list, but the whole series isn't there yet. So we'll see how this is. I think each issue has a different writer. Yeah, this is Kelly Thompson. Lines, colors, and letters by Michael Walsh. And I kind of liked the first issue, but only kind of liked it. So we'll see. And I think each issue will have a different writer and the same artist, Michael Walsh. And it's the story of the silver coin, I guess, is their sort of MacGuffin to keep things going from issue to issue, where some different people find this coin or have some involvement with this coin. Last issue, it was a musician using it as a pick, this silver coin that he found in his mother's possessions, and it turned him into this. It made everybody like his music better. And his whole band was like, whoa, and he was like, whoa. So it was an interesting story that, I think they're all horror stories. That first one was, so it didn't end well for the band. And speaking of horror stories, we have Ice Cream Man, #24. Telethon, stay up late and is this supposed to be a TV guide ad or something? I don't get it. Usually these Ice Cream Man covers are pretty entertaining. This one seems rather dull to me. But this is a horror anthology story. We'll see what crazy stuff, what horrible way and horrible things people get into. There's who's the artist on this? What's his name again? Let me see here. Hold on. Martin Morazzo. And Maxwell Prince is writing it. But one of the things he does, Martin Morazzo, to make things look extra creepy, is he always draws teeth on people. So it's like everybody. If you noticed, most art, comic book art, you don't draw each individual tooth. He draws each individual tooth, and it gives everyone an extra creepy look. And our last comic of the week is Julian March's Carmen, issue #3. I think this is a 6-issue series. I think this was already published in France. But the first 2 issues have been really good. I've so much enjoyed the art on them. It's funny, I've only ever seen Julian March's covers, like on DC stuff. I think he did a lot of covers for like their female character books like Poison Ivy and The Birds of Prey and I forget who, and I always kind of liked them. And I think they even put out a book of his covers, which I almost got because I'm a sucker for books of comic book covers, but I never quite did. But seeing this makes me want to get it because I think his panel to panel stuff I like even better than the covers I've seen him do. But thoroughly enjoyable. Carmen is some kind of angel who guides people in the afterlife to the afterlife, but she's got this woman with her now who the story is also about, who committed suicide, and part of it is the woman wanted nobody to bother her ever, or to be invisible. So now after she died, she can go all around Earth, but nobody can see her or interact with her. And so it's this weird thing. I'm still not. We still don't know 100% know the point of the story yet. Is that at the end of the story, is this woman going to go on to the afterlife, or is she somehow going to learn a lesson from all this and be alive again? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where this story is heading, but so far it's just been the adventures of this angel of death and this dead woman. So good stuff. Now let me show you a little bit of the color I've got behind me, because should have lifted this up, because I decided to do a painting, and wow, these take a lot more out of me than a big ink drawing. Let's bring it so you can see some of the surface of it. And I kind of put down all this color with like a brush stroke in one direction. And for some reason I wrote, I had up where the words. I am the juggler. I don't always put words on my paintings, but sometimes I do, and that guy being the juggler seemed to need those words on it. But when I paint one of these, first thing I do is put down all the blocks of color. That took 3 days. Took 3 days to put down all these blocks and the colors in him. And then then I spent another day making all these lines that are on the surface of it. All these motion lines and little tick marks and colors and blocks of color. Color in his shoes. That's kind of the most fun part of it. It's kind of really tedious putting in all this color so kind of smoothly and with brush strokes in one direction, and you really have to like the meditative qualities of painting in order to do that. But then after that's all done and I get to do all this stuff, there's a lot of staring at it and making one mark and then staring at it again, and sort of like one mark leads you to the next mark. It's funny how when I do it, I put down a couple of marks because those are the marks I see, and then I put the brush down and look at it again, and other marks suggest themselves, and I do those marks. I put the brush down again and look, and those marks now new marks are suggested. So it's like I rarely have any of that stuff planned out. It's just like marks up here, like these 3 paint marks. Each started with one paint. I think I started with those deep purple ones in the corners. Then later on, I was like, oh, let's put a red mark next to it. Then later on, I was like, oh, we need a little pink next to it. So it's interesting the way that, as things move in that final stage, paint strokes suggest one another. Alrighty, so there you go. Some comics, some artwork, and you guys have a good week out there.